We're actually quite glad that you're here because, I mean, the number one question that we get is about jobs. And from someone who's sort of both handled the tech side, being part of the AI revolution, really, and also understanding human resources training and all how that whole industry has evolved over the last, say, 10, 15 years. I'm keen to know what are your thoughts on the future of recruiting, future of hiring? Where do are people? Okay, let me just ask you this bluntly. Are we all going to lose our jobs?
No, there is some optimism, and I even had myself. I've even wondered, like, oh yeah, is there going to be such thing as recruiting teams, HR managers? And so I think I'm certainly on the optimistic side, but I think there's something we all need to know, and we know that one, we need to be open for change. So the one thing, this goes back to my Google days, and this is not the world of AI, but when I worked at Google, we found like the biggest thing that prevented us from people adopting Google products, and it was mostly just about change. So the number one thing that Google trained us as account executives was like, all right, learn how to manage people and learn change management skills. And we were representing, Gmail, Google Drive, eventually Google Cloud. And we would speak with people who knew that it was a better solution out there, but it was just a matter of managing what people do. And so I think we have to know, as people, we have to be open to change. We need to start adopting these AI tools. And, once we understand that, we can make ourselves much more fungible in the labor market. And one thing I like to kind of steer this conversation to kind of give people a high level perspective, and it comes from a Sam Altman quote that he mentioned 2 years ago, and I think as we're seeing materialize now, but the labor force has been a pyramid since the Industrial Revolution. So you have a large bottom layer of workforce that, your hourly workers, your recent college grads, and whether it's a factory, whether it's a tech company, it's kind of followed that same. And people will kind of grow up the ladder and eventually get to the CEO. I think that is about to change in the world of AI. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the world of physical AI. But he said the format of the new company is going to be diamond shaped. There's going to be very few people that AI is going to take that whole bottom layer of data analyst of entry level work, and there's going to be a large middle layer, and people will have agents and AI assistants that digital clones up under them that will be doing that work, and then they will be kind of the same executive function that will be managing that. So we're already seeing that. I get up here in the world of Silicon Valley startups that I think are early adopters, and they are certainly already forming that structure right now.